With all the recent rain Stockton and the Valley has received, many believe the drought to be over. Alex Breitler, environmental reporter for the Stockton Record, explains why that isn't the case.
And you have to take into account not only precipitation, but the snowpack, reservoir storage across the board, not just in one area, but everywhere. And then groundwater, which is a big deal. I mean, during the drought, we have sucked up a lot of that groundwater, which is supposed to be kind of our emergency savings account below our feet. Right, rainy day fund. And that doesn't just get replenished overnight. So if you really take the long view on what a drought is, it would be very difficult to state the case that the drought is over.
Many factors like reservoir storage, the snowpack, and groundwater levels are key during a drought. Groundwater became, and still is, a huge issue for citizens and most especially farmers.
So you hear a lot of stories of pain and suffering, and certainly there was a lot of pain and suffering, but it's not like agriculture withered up and blew away. So I think this will allow them some recovery, which is good. Hopefully it will allow them to take less groundwater, which is so important. Take as much surface water as you possibly can and lay off the groundwater so it's not sinking as fast as it has been in the past. I think that's the biggest issue. But certainly, I mean, they're going to be relieved that there's so much water. There's no doubt about it, as long as they don't get flooded out.
As winter turns into spring, the snowpack will soon become the state's main source of water as it melts and enters reservoirs as runoff. There, however, is a possibility for flooding with such a large snowpack like now.
Yeah, that's what happened in the last really, really big flooding we had in 1997. That's what happened. We had a big snowpack, and then we had a warm Pineapple Express storm come in and melt all that snow. It's the rain on snow effect. And it's very dangerous because we often can't handle that much runoff all at once. That's what can happen. You get a huge snowpack, and the potential is there for that the rest of this winter because we now have this enormous snowpack up there. Our reservoirs are much fuller than they were a month ago at this time. And if we do get these Pineapple Express storms coming in where the snow level's 7,000 feet or 8,000 feet, that snow can melt very, very quickly. So I think that's something they're going to be keeping a really close eye on.
With the risk of flooding so high in cities like Stockton, it is important that citizens become aware of how to prepare for such a disaster.
So basic flood preparedness, for one thing, and awareness of what these strange things are that we call levees and what they do and what the flood risk is in their neighborhoods. I'll tell you, the county OES has really good user-friendly maps for every neighborhood, basically every neighborhood in Stockton that faces a flood risk. And you can look at those maps and it shows you like your evacuation route and shows you like where high ground is, somewhere you could scramble to if you had to, and kind of like rallying points, places that people should go and congregate together. So anyway, they're user-friendly maps.
Although the matter of the drought is very grave, after rain does come sunshine, and there is a bright side.
And the federal government has, their official declaration is that about 60% of the state is still in some level of drought, including us here in Stockton. Much, much better than it was a year ago at this time, but still some.
But citizens must conserve as they do now.
It's a very difficult sell to convince people to keep conserving. But we're going to have more droughts, and if those behaviors are permanent, or some of them at least, then we'll be in better shape going into the future droughts.